KTRS. In January of 2015, the allegation says that Tom Brady helped and somehow knew about and orchestrated taking air out of the footballs. It is now May of 2016, and the battle rages on. Aaron Katursky, who is a Patriots fan in terms of full disclosure, has the latest. Good morning, Aaron Katursky.
Good morning. Tom Brady is going to press his appeal before the full Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, asking the full circuit to hear his argument that Roger Goodell made up the rules of the arbitration as he went along and ignored all the collectively bargained for things that the league and the NFL Players Association had worked out at the negotiating table. And so he has hired Ted Olson, the former Solicitor General of the United States, and other legal heavyweights to help him press that case.
Now, this is interesting because Ted Olson is not the lawyer you find at the corner law shop. This guy is as big of a heavyweight as there is.
Bush v. Gore, same-sex marriage, I mean, you name it, he's argued it. And he is going to be making a case that at this point, McGraw, is not about Tom Brady. It's not about whether he has, underinflated footballs or not, whether he even gets to play the first 4 games of the season. To Olson, it's about fundamental fairness and due process rights, and that he says every unionized worker in the country has a stake in the outcome.
And so you only hire Ted Olson if you're thinking this ends up in the Supreme Court somewhere.
Which it may, because the full U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals could reject the en banc hearing. And at that point, Brady would have, basically 2 options. He could ask the full Supreme Court to take the case. They could decide whether to grant cert, go from there, and it could, last months. Or he could take it directly to the one Supreme Court justice who is responsible for the Second Circuit here in New York, and that's Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's from New York, though. She's not a Patriots fan.
Well, all right. So there's at least one. There's one God-fearing person in this whole case. So what's the timeline for the full court to rule?
There isn't one, and the petition will be filed today. The full court will have to decide whether to take the case, and then if they do, they'd have to hear it, consider it, and make a ruling. Now, there's only 3 months, right? 4 months before the start of the NFL season. So it seems like this could be in limbo for now a 3rd season. And whether Brady gets to start the first 4 games, depending on how this goes, could be kind of stayed.
Right. Okay. So as of now, he can't play the first 4 games of the season, correct?
That's right, as of now.
Right.
And if the circuit court rejects his his petition for an en banc hearing, he still can't play. If he goes to the Supreme Court, he could ask the court to hold things up while the Supreme Court decides what to do.
Right.
But all of this, again, this is all kind of in the works.
Yeah. All right. There you go. You have a question?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron, real quick, litigation aside, the game in question, if I'm not mistaken, was against Indianapolis, right? Didn't they win that game like 44-7 or something like that? I mean, real big. I mean, they could have done that with a rolled-up sock. I mean, what is it about these guys that just, that would compel somebody to go along with it? I mean, is Belichick that big a cheat? I mean, how do you figure that?
Well, yes, obviously, that's.
You're a little quick to answer, McGraw. Fine. Look, the one thing that Brady has on his side is that there still has not been a definitive piece of evidence to say that he did anything wrong. I mean, the Wells report, kind that he probably, maybe in all likelihood, sort of, kind of knew-ish. I mean, it isn't definitive, and it probably is not evidence that would hold up in a criminal trial. But that's not the standard, and Goodell weighed his own set of facts and circumstances. The problem for Brady, as he sees it in his appeal papers, is that the commissioner applied one set of facts and circumstances to suspend him 4 games, and then when he was the arbitrator and upheld that suspension, he mentioned some other things. And so the union says you can't suspend a guy based on X and then uphold the suspension based on Y. That's a violation, they say, of due process.
Aaron Katurski, have a good week. Thanks for playing along with us. You got it. 7:56 KTRS.
Be the fifth caller right now at 314-969-5870.